What's up guys? Today we're going to be showing you how to install SuperATV's fender flares on this Can-Am Maverick trail. So let's get right to it. So the first thing we're going to do is remove this T40 Torx right here. And we'll just want to set that aside for just a moment. So now we're going to use this hardware to attach your flare. You want to make sure your flare lines up just like so. This is the passenger side flare that we are working on. Just going to line it up in the factory hole. And go ahead and snug it up. So we'll just want to go ahead and get our factory bolt through our flare. So what you're gonna do is get your flare lined up where it needs to be. It should fit something just like this right here. And you're gonna go through your flare and mark your holes. I like to do 2 at a time. And then if you can hold it right in place, make sure your holes are still lined up, you'll take your drill and drill right through these holes. Once you drill the holes in the plastic, you're going to grab 2 of your push pins. We're going to put one here and then one here, and we're just going to keep working our way around. And take a push pin, slide it in. Same thing here, push pin installed, snap it in. And what we're going to do is line up this hole here, take our paint marker, mark it. Take our drill, make sure our mark's lined up. So now we're gonna push our flare back as far as we can. Reach through, mark, and mark. And again, keep your flare pushed back as far as you possibly can. And you can pull the flare back and drill through. But I prefer to do it this way. So now we're gonna grab 2 of our long Allen headed bolts, 2 of our SuperATV washers, 2 flat washers, 2 nylock nuts, and our passenger side front bracket. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this bracket, lay it up on the flare, and it should be oriented just like this here. So we're going to take our hardware, slide it through the bracket, through the flare, into the hole we just drilled. Then we will take a flat washer and a nylock nut. Install the flat washer. Then the nylock nut. Get it started. Do the same thing back here for this hole. Now we're going to grab 2 of our short Allens, 2 of our SuperATV washers, 2 flat washers, and 2 nylock nuts. We're going to take the shorts, come down from the top, go through our bracket like so. We're going to grab a flat washer and a nylock nut. So it should look just like so. Once we have this hardware started, we're going to go through and fully tighten everything. So now our hardware is fully tightened. We're going to move to the rear. So now we're moving on to the rear. We want to make sure that we get our passenger rear flare. There's not going to be any factory hardware that we're going to be able to utilize on this one. So what we're going to do is take it. We're going to line it up just like this. Like I said, center of that bend in the center of this notch. Then take your paint marker, mark your holes, Like I said, these have already been drilled. So now we're going to take our push pins and go through our fender flare into the holes that we drilled into the plastic. So once you have your push pins in these two holes here, that's going to locate the rest of the holes for you. You just want to make sure that you keep your flare as tight to the machine as you possibly can. Just want to kind of keep it pinched up against the plastic just like that. So that hole, you just drill it, put your two push pins in here, which you want to drill now. Again, ours is already drilled. Pop a push pin in. And as you can see, it kind of works inward. Instead of kind of laying out, we want to rock it in to keep it very tight to the machine. So it should look just like this. Right there in the center of our bend and the fender lines up perfectly with our flare. Same right here on the upper. Once we get these upper holes lined out and drilled, get our hardware in them, we'll be ready to go as well. So down here, we installed push pins to help us locate the rest of our holes so we can get everything drilled and get the flare on the machine. We will be removing these push pins and installing our short Allen-headed hardware with our SuperATV washers, 2 flat washers, and 2 nylock nuts. So now we're going to remove this T40 Torx here, this one here. Now we're going to remove this push pin right here, located right next to the voltage regulator. We'll grab this piece of plastic, slide it down out of the way. So the reason that we remove this panel is so that we can gain access to behind the plastic here. That way we can put a wrench on our nuts. So we'll remove these push pins one at a time. Again, we put them in there to help locate and help hold the flare up. So we'll take one of our short Allens with our SuperATV washer, go on the inside, install a flat washer. And then a nylock nut. We'll tighten that and then we'll remove this one. Now we're going to push our flare back as far as we can towards the front of the machine, mark our hole, drill it. Once you've done that, take a push pin, install it to the hole. See, it's very important to get this as tight as you possibly can to get the best look out of the machine here. Now that we have this laid tight, we're going to drill straight up through these two holes, as well as this hole here. This hole will get a push pin. These two will have different hardware in it with a bracket. So like I said, once you've got the rest of these three drilled here, install a push pin in this rearmost one. And then these two will take bolts. In order to gain access to get the hardware on the backside, we'll have to remove this panel here. So in order to remove this panel here, take the twist knob, turn it to the unlocked position, grab the panel, remove it, and we'll set it aside. Now we're going to grab our rear bracket, 2 long Allen-headed screws, 2 short Allen-headed screws, 4 nylock nuts, 4 flat washers, and 4 of the SuperATV washers. So this bracket will be oriented just like this. You will need to drill these 2 holes. Again, like I said, once you have this one drilled, drill all 3 of these. So it'll lay like that. You want to take the long screw, slide it through the bracket like this. Then we're going to slide it through the hole that we drilled. So you just want to take your flat washer and nylock nut, get it started on that bolt. Then we'll come here to our next hole here. Line it up. And go to the inside with a flat washer and a nylock nut again. Can be a little bit tight to get your hands in here. It's absolutely doable. Hardware started. These screws here, the short ones, are going to come from the top down, just like so. Now what we're going to do is go through and fully tighten all of our hardware. Now we're going to reinstall our service panel here. I'm going to grab this panel here, slide it back into position. Reinstall your factory T40 Torx screws. Then your push pin. All right, so now all you're gonna do is repeat the same steps on the opposite side. Once you've done that, that's all there is to it to install SuperATV's low profile fender flares on this Can-Am Maverick Trail. Be sure to check the description below to pick yours up today. And while you're there, drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.